What's up, guys? So we're back out here again working on the hatchback. Looks like it's running pretty well. Had the exhaust changed out, took it for a spin a few times. Now we're gonna see if we can try get it running smoother, a little stronger, just a little better overall. Now I spoke to the guy that is going to tune the car. His name's Albert. He recommended a few things that we should change. First being an adjustable fuel pressure regulator, and second being some spark plugs. Third being a wideband, so we can definitely get the tune set up a little better. And a couple things I wanted to do myself. This car had a boost gauge originally in it, some older brand called Equus. It's been sitting like this ever since I bought it. It's broken, obviously needs to be replaced. So I picked up a Glowshift boost gauge. We're going to throw that in today. The AEM wideband I got from JHP USA, along with an energy quick release and hub. I'm just going to utilize my old Momo from my B20 track car since it's down at the moment. I'll probably buy a new wheel for that car when I get it running. I ended up getting some Hawk HPS pads from a subscriber. He had an EF hatch that was totaled, sold these to me for pretty cheap, so I think this would be a great upgrade. They're the HPS, just a little bit more stopping power. And then for the regulator, I have a couple options. I have two of these bolt-on ones which go to the stock regulator. Also from JHP, I picked up this Golden Eagle fuel pressure regulator relocator. And the reason I picked that up, I have this Integra parts car out here. I was going to use the AEM fuel pressure regulator that's on this B20 engine. I can't use the rail, it's a B series rail, but seeing how big it is and how far they stick down, what that relocator does, it sits on here and it turns it so you can mount the rail 90 degrees. So basically it would be sticking out this way and it wouldn't have any issues. Like, look how close this regulator is to the supercharger. It's like a finger gap. So the regulator itself, not even including the little nipple in the end, there's no way it would clear the supercharger. But I don't know if I don't think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to try probably this one out first, because this is on an old A6 rail that I had laying around, and this one was from the other supercharger that Ray had on his Civic. But we'll give this one a shot first, make sure it works. And I also have this random fuel pressure gauge that I'm going to mount on the fuel filter itself. This I normally would keep aside, and I was just using it to test fuel pressure on cars. But since I need one now, I'm going to throw it on there, and then in the future maybe we can just upgrade the rail and get a nice gauge on here, along with maybe a better FPR in the future. So I'm going to get started, see if we can get all this knocked out today. What I did there, I welded the included bung onto the bottom part of the header. Welds are ugly. It's my old flux core welder. It's about 8 years old. I got it in 2012. It still kind of works. I think it's time to upgrade, but regardless, paying attention to the instructions. It says avoid a completely vertical sensor to prevent overheating, and also must be installed greater than 10 degrees so the condensation can properly drain away. And the O2 sensor was mounted straight up and down, and that angle is obviously greater than 10 degrees, probably like a 30-degree angle right there. So I think it's perfectly fine. It doesn't come in contact with anything. I checked before I removed it. So it should be great right there. I'm going to retain the original O2 sensor also. Here's how they both sit up in there now. And I fed the wiring through, there was an empty grommet right there by the evaporator core lines. So now I just need to start Wiring up the air fuel gauge, then I can move down to the boost. I think I'm gonna move the boost right here, and then I either wanna get an oil pressure or oil temp. I think I'm more interested in the temperature because that supercharger is supposed to generate excessive heat. So let's get this one wired up and we'll test this one out. Okay, here's where I'm at. Got the two gauges sat in here, fed all the wiring down through the dash. I connected the wideband. We're gonna test that one, make sure it is connected correctly. All right, that one's good to go. Also have to clean up some of the wiring. I'm gonna actually do that right now. And then I'll move over to the boost gauge because that one, none of these wires are actually gonna run over to the ECU. Moving a little farther forward, I got the gauge, the boost gauge wired up, and I always like to test everything, make sure I have the correct connections. Pretty simple, just kind of tedious. Getting down here for the fuse box. And let's just go ahead and test it. Got the dimmer also wired up, so when you turn the headlights on, it gets a little more dim on the boost gauge. Let me wrap this up. So I got everything finished up. Fuel pressure gauge is on. Ended up just using that blue fuel pressure regulator. Fit perfectly with that 90-degree bend in the return line. Then I finished up with the energy setup. Of course, you just saw the gauges. So that's it for today, guys. Didn't do too much, just got a little bit of work done. Glad we're moving forward with this vehicle, getting it closer to being able to drive it and have a little bit of fun with it. The guy that's tuning the car for me, Albert, it's running so much better than it was now. I'm doing a lot of that behind the scenes, where he's sending me base maps back and forth and making some adjustments. And hoping we can get that taken care of soon so we can actually enjoy it and drive it, and I'd love to be able to take it to the track eventually. Follow along soon. We'll have some more update videos on this vehicle and a couple more things I want to get done before we get to that stage. We'll see you next time.